Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Welcome everybody to our Natural Health News live show. We've been officially going live every day for over a month now. So welcome to all of you. Today I'm very excited. I'm going to share with you some news about our current state of the virus, updates, important information to keep you and your families healthy and safe. And today's topic is going to be 10 healthy daily tips that you can implement right now, today, this morning, that'll keep you and your families healthy and safe, support your immune system, and really fortify your body across the board. So I apologize for my tardiness. It's been a little bit of a crazy morning, but we're all thriving and surviving in our new mode as home parents, teachers, and working from home. So I welcome all of you. I'd love to know, where are you all tuning in from? I forgot, I actually have to grab something from my printer because, it didn't print. Okay, so I have a new scientific research study that I'm going to share with you. So I thought I printed it, but I apologize. Again, it's one of those mornings, but welcome to all of you joining. If you are new, let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Dr. Melissa Gallagher. I'm a naturopathic physician. I have a background in nutrition. I also have a background in lymphatic management and lymphatic therapies. And I also focus on functional medicine. So I work as a naturopath at resolving your whole body imbalances, essentially looking at and addressing the root cause of an assortment of illnesses, ailments, and diseases that might be plaguing and troubling you and your family. So that's really what I do as a naturopath. And this particular kind of state that we're in, we've closed down our practice. So we're not practicing in person, face to face. And now I'm in this digital sphere with all of you, working from home, running our family management, as well as the business from afar. So welcome to all of you. Maria has been with me from the very beginning. Maria told me about Pinterest a long time ago. Do you remember that, Maria? So anyway, welcome to all of you. I want to share with you some news. It's crazy. New York City alone hit over 200,000 cases, and they are now tabulating the mortalities of presumed positive cases. I don't know if you guys recall, maybe a week ago, I was reporting that they were not testing those that were arriving to the facilities, maybe dead on arrival or had passed away at home or and unfortunately, some in the streets. And what they have now identified is that it's presumptive if it was a situation that it was long related. They're now attributing that to the virus. So in a matter of 3 days, their mortality rate increased by 17%. So they added over 3,000 individual cases to the tally. So alone, their mortality numbers it's risen over 10,000 cases. So the US is, inching up. We're at 614,000. We have seen a major slowdown. In the last week, there's been a decrease of 30%, and that's significant in the testing. So essentially, the testing has come a little bit to a halt. Not enough people are getting tested. Not all the people who need to be tested are getting tested. Despite what you hear that their availability, there are all these new tests, that is bogus. This is not factually, and it's not statistically sound. 30% less tests were performed last week. And part of that is being attributed to the fact that we don't have enough tests, that we lagged behind on ordering tests. So a lot of the equipment, the little swabs and all the little pieces to the testing are coming in from countries that have been devastated as well. So that's part of the lag. The other lag they're attributing to, the CDC in March made a slight adjustment in terms of who should get tested. So they actually said, okay, we don't have enough test kits. How do we prioritize who should get tested? So they had identified patients in the hospital should get tested. Healthcare workers should get tested, because obviously that's another point of spread. And then anybody who's in the vulnerable category. So people get, and I know a lot of you have been getting turned away. So a lot of folks are feeling frustrated that they are not being getting accessibility to tests. They're not getting the turnaround time. It's just a mess. It is a total mess. So, and by the way, I just want to announce I am wearing my Quarantine Queen tank top. Is this not the cutest? So it's navy. It's hard to tell it's navy, but it's navy and a blush kind of metallic. This is available on Etsy. So if you guys want to be quarantine queens with me, and I think they even have quarantine kings for all you gentlemen. But I've got a link to an Etsy store. So she was super sweet. I told her I wanted a tank in this, and boom, it came off the press really fast. So one of the things that I think is troubling is that we're seeing raised counts despite the fact that we're not getting enough tests, which is even more alarming. So the idea of us opening up and being able to be back to normal, and it literally, like I'm looking at my calendar, which by the way, it's down here. I just literally flipped it over. Anybody else in this category? I just flipped it over to April yesterday. So I had March up for 2 weeks. Every day is like Groundhog's Day. But anyway, we're looking at 2 weeks. We're 2 weeks away. With a decrease and a glitch in the testing, I just don't see that happening. And that leads me to communicate the latest research. This is coming out of Harvard School of Public Health. Many of you know I lived in Boston for a few years. I got my doctorate up there. A few of my really close friends are actually epidemiology doctoral candidates with this school. So they went to Harvard and they study the science of infections and just the kind of epidemiology and epidemiological trends. Well, they have come together and they are predicting that if things don't change, or if they change too fast, like we go back to normal life, which, by the way, there's a new normal heading our way. They have identified all these variables. So the question of, we don't have antibody tests yet. The FDA is having approval, but the question mark is, how accurate are they? So they started to break down the potential discrepancies in antibody testing. They looked at the fact that we have major issues in testing. We have issues with contract tracing. And I had shown this last week. This is what contact tracing looks like in terms of there are two parties. This was coming out of Chicago. It was a funeral and a birthday party, and then all the different parties involved, and the black were the fatalities and folks who had tested positive. Well, that has to happen, but it can't happen if we don't have tests to know who's positive. So they went through everything. They even said, okay, we don't even know when a vaccine is going to happen. And on the good side, we'd look at 12 to 18 months. But their projections, and I'll post that PDF link, their projections were that we would be social distancing through 2022. So I don't like to bring crazy bad news, but we need to be realistic. And I think if we start to get really hopeful right now, we start to neglect some of the basics. We need to stay in place. We need to stay home when we can. We need to limit our engagements and interaction. We need to be wearing face masks to protect ourselves and other folks. And I'm finally getting all of the materials that I've ordered. So I'm going to do a specific face mask video with different masks that have quality. Makes some of the masks N95 masks and N99 masks just based on the kind of degree of layering. So I'll be doing that, but we can protect ourselves, and we need to be wearing gloves. We need to be having our hand sanitizers and just washing our hands and really limiting our exposure. It is very, very challenging. And so I want to put that out there because that's new. That just hit the market. And it was, oh gosh, my friends I have one of my friends. I don't know if you guys have had any friends get on the TikTok bandwagon. She's like discovered a whole new world. And so every morning, basically when I go to you, she sends out these TikTok videos. It's her survival. So she gets all of her great laughs and all these funny women wearing like leotards from the 80s. So anyway, sorry about that. That's just a really kind of funny, my friend. But what this Harvard School of Public Health, what we're going to see from these epidemiological assessments and the study of what's happening, we're going to see this really, we need to listen to the science. These are the folks that are the experts. These are the folks that day in, day out deal with data and analyze trends and analyze the reality of our situation. So we need to be prepared mentally. We need to be prepared emotionally. Watch our, it's actually my friend Ray who sold us our house. And she's one of my bridesmaids. So we're sticking together through laughter and TikTok. And Etsy shirts. I keep sending them a whole bunch of stuff in the mail. So we need to be prepared. We need to be cognizant of the fact that this is going to be longer term. And we also need to prepare our bodies. So what today's video is about, you can't see, but I have a whole clearinghouse of stuff that I want to highlight. I have 10 items that we're going to dig into that are going to help you have healthy routines to really implement just overall health and wellness. And this is across the board. So, for folks that have dental challenges, to folks that have immune issues, allergies, asthma, weakened immunity, viral invasions, this will be impactful. So I'm very, very excited to bring all of this to you. A few other things I want to highlight, because I know we have a lot of folks that live in these areas. So, unfortunately, some of these states are getting not the right press that they need in terms of our just social awareness. But New Jersey, DC, so the District of Columbia, so Washington, DC, and Louisiana have had their deadliest days. So they are in their peak point. So if you guys live in that area, keep staying staying at home, stay in place. You guys are going to be getting through this worst, the major peak. Two other things I want to highlight for news that I found kind of interesting. So we're starting to see the lawsuits. And I had mentioned this before, there's liability in organizations and companies keeping us healthy and safe. And we saw this happening in Italy, where that idiot that was like the main super spreader knowingly spread. They attribute the majority of their cases. And at that point, it was like 35,000 cases were attributed to him. But it was a gentleman that knew he tested positive. He exited out of the hospital, and then he refused to social distance and basically infected hundreds and thousands of people through that spread, the exponential growth from this guy. And all of these people went to parties and churches and all these other things. It just blew up. Well, Italy, they actually sued this gentleman. So he, I believe, has been found guilty. And there's a monetary suit, so civil, but then there's also criminal. We're seeing that now. So the first of the lawsuits have hit the US. The first one was the nursing home, one of the major nursing homes in Kirkland, Washington. That was where main hotspot was first. The life care facility or life care center. There is a family that has filed suit based on their loved one passing. So that's the first. This is just the beginning of it. And Celebrity Cruises has had their first case regarding the first lawsuit regarding their handling of it. So let's just think about that in greater perspective. Let's think about your companies that you might be working with. Many of you frontliners, they're not equipping you with the right materials. They are not employing the right social distancing. I'm hearing reports because, again, we are minimizing our contact. And I'll also share with you an experience we had yesterday with a local business that I've complained and I won't be supporting. And I'm going to name their name because I think these places need to be called out because they're threatening the health of everybody they're dealing with. But that threat now turns into a legal matter, and there is conscious liability. We now have CDC guidelines, and it's progressing. We are learning more about this, the status of this virus, and because of it, we're making changes. Companies need to be pivoting. The companies that don't or that are not engaging in healthy practices to support their people, their employees, and the people that frequent them or are under their care, like this life care center, there are going to be legal ramifications for their lack of proper procedures, protocols, equipment. And I know we have Anita, one of our followers on YouTube. She's in the trucking industry. And she's, from the beginning, had been communicating to us that people were not, truckers weren't taking it seriously. People weren't wearing masks. She was even wearing a bandana before really kind of things started progressing and us communicating further wear masks and protect yourself. But I think we're going to start to see more of this. And I think we're also going to see this move into some of the grocery stores, because we're seeing those grocery facilities. We might even see this in the category of like Instacart and the Amazon delivery service and Shipped, because those folks are also very much in these grocery facilities exposing themselves. So my little story is yesterday, if you guys are following me on Instagram, we are getting my garden ready. Like Brian just basically announced yesterday, I'm going to have the most kick-ass garden. He's very proud of it. And I'm very honored because he has the vision. He has the ability to take my vision and he implements it, which is awesome. So we have all these materials and supplies that have been kind of sitting around, and we are laying this beautiful garden. I'm going to have the most edible, awesome garden, organic. And so yesterday, I followed up on an order that I placed online with a local nursery that we shop at all the time. I love them. They have maybe 15 or 20 stores here in the Atlanta area. And so they're trying to pivot as a business. Their online ordering was basically a Google document. It sucked. I can't even tell what their inventory is online. So we were supposed to get a call back in 3 to 5 business days. I didn't. I called them yesterday after 8 days, and they're like, oh, okay, we're pulling your order. And so over the phone, we talked about some other items that we needed. And the plan was to have it delivered. Well, now they're like, we're totally out with delivery. We had already charged and been paid, we paid for it. So we had to go and pick it up. And they were like, we have safe procedures and, everything online. It's all, viral oriented, the name of the virus. And they're like, procedures within social distancing, blah, blah, blah. So my expectation is we're going to show up. People are going to have masks and there's going to be a distance. And even though they're putting stuff in our car, they're going to be protecting themselves and us. Yeah, no, that did not happen. There were lines there. I witnessed some older gentleman get out of his car. And I've got my mask, got my 2 layers of my masks, and I've got my car all rigged out. I've got my aromatherapy going. I got my clothes. I am ready to go. And they do come up close to the car, but not too close. So I'm okay with that interaction. But like witnessing this gentleman and engaging with the guy putting like flowers in his car, in his trunk, he was way too close. Now, older gentleman. Okay, so we're talking like he must have been in his 70s, probably mid to late 70s, maybe older. Gets out of his car, no gloves. He's not protected. The worker's not protected. And I am just like witnessing this thinking, oh my God, I'm just seeing like the droplets. And then several workers, I only saw one worker wearing a mask. Several didn't even have gloves on. Even gardening gloves, like, we had to get sand. There's a whole bunch of like heavy stuff that they had to load into the car. And we had 2 trips. And so, we made sure Brian on the second trip, he had Gabriel in the car. He didn't get out of the car. I exited the car. I had my dishwashing gloves and my mask. I got my sun hat because I'm protecting myself. I got my goggles. So, that is what we're doing. And that is a far cry from like my morning experience where I picked up my veggies and they had full social distancing. Like I talked to the guy 12 feet away. He radioed to the girl who was like, 50 feet away, and we roll up and they, my trunk automatically opens. They throw the stuff in, one person, and we wave from afar distance. Totally safe. That was on a farm setting. This was in a retail setting. That's a nightmare. And if you guys want to know, it's called Pike's Nursery. I think they are failing the community greatly. I complained on Instagram. I didn't get a response back. And it's insane. And the older gentleman, like, I just think, what if that's our grandparent? And by the way, the fact that they're not delivering is indicative that there's a greater supply of people who want to deliver. They should be making strides as a business to pivot. So Cupcake Paper says Instacart in West Virginia employees have not been wearing gloves or masks delivering groceries. Yeah, this is a no-brainer. And we're now at a point, the CDC has guidelines. So I reference my expectation as a customer is that you guys should have your employees and your procedures should at minimum meet the CDC guidelines. So Pikes, if you guys are watching, I am so disappointed by your lack of and your failing of keeping not only your employees, but your customers safe. That is a devastating blow to our community. And they were like, we're really busy. Well, great. I'm happy that you're busy and we're all about supporting local, but to what detriment? The health of your employees. I'm just so unnerved by that. And this is like the first time, yesterday was the first time I've ever done any type of engagement. We're done. We're going back to Home Depot deliveries. Like I hate going with the big, that doesn't necessarily support local, right? There's shareholders and there's a lot of profitability, but for safety's sake, I have to call it. So Candy says, I was at Walmart and the cashier had no gloves on and no mask, was touching her face and of course, all my groceries. Yeah. And X Bluebell says you have to practice, practice, and practice. And that is totally true. Like, I roll up, I still in the car, the beautiful mask that Sarah makes. And by the way, she's making those, she's pumping them out. So she's getting them out every day. If you need masks, buy 2, one that you can wash, one that you always have free. But that is really, really disturbing to me. And I just, it's just unnerving. So Gloria says, yes, Cupcake, my family full of truck drivers here. I just sent my Dawn off this morning with a kit of essential oils and masks. Yes. And I actually am diffusing, and I'll share a little bit more. This is one of my favorite diffusing, these guys. I was diffusing the Guru Nanda, their immunity blend in the car. And it actually kind of spilled and it just like my car smells fantastic. It has clove. It has all the like core essential oils. I just really, really love this brand. So anyway, so that's my little deviation. I'm very, very disappointed. And that we're going back in, we're going back under, we're not going out. I got my plants, my garden is coming along. But it's just not worth it. So I'm just going to be doing ordering seeds online. And Dale says, people are so informed. They think that because we have peaked, there are no new cases. WTH. Yeah. And Georgia now is over 20,000 cases. The hotspot is the Atlanta metro area. And the county they are in is the county that's the most heavily hit. They service a lot of those that particular county. Like we have 3 counties in our area. So, it's on the rise and it just goes with it, some ignorance. And it's just not at a point where we can go, oh, they're just being ignorant. No, they're being negligent and they're threatening the lives of their customers. So I just get really, really peeved about it. Instagram, I have to plug you in. My phone is at like 20%. So let me plug in Instagram. And, oh, by the way, see my flower, my little rose? I have to move this because it's right in the way. Got to get Instagram all settled in. Okay, you guys are good. Okay, good Instagram. All right, so if you guys are liking this, feel inspired, we're going to get into 10 healthy habits to employ at home today that will help support your immune system. And before we do that, I always want to kind of end our news with happy. So I found out about a local girl in Marietta. She's, I think, 8 or 9, super cutie. She has started this thing's called Kids. It's an organization. She's the founder of it at 8 or 9. I love it. This is our future. So her name or her company or her organization, it's called Kids Care, and it's kids-care2018.org. She's been doing this for clearly 2 years now. And she has had all sorts of like charitable efforts that she's employed. Well, now her major effort is to have folks make for letters and notes to the first responders. And they have a whole list, like on their website, they have a whole list based on the different types of first responders. So, EMTs, police department, frontline nurses, doctors, the medical facilities. She also has a whole bunch of specific frontliners that we might not be thinking about that are providing us work. And she wanted to inspire them and have basically us create all these thank you notes. So I will post that here in the, let me update this. I'll post that. Oh, Whitney's on. Hey, Whitney. Let's see. Penny Dent, would you be willing to dedicate a day's video per week to lymphedema? I actually have a whole playlist. So on YouTube, I have about 50 videos. These videos, this live is all about this virus. And so we're broad-based in our communication. Not everybody watching the live is going to be dealing with lymphedema, but I welcome you to check out the playlist. Okay, so let me post this. I'm going to post it on here. All right, so her website, if you guys want to check it out, it's super cute. It's www.kids-care2018.org. And I love that. So I love it when kids do this. I really am so inspired. They just have an infinite amount of just inspiration, and nothing stands in their way. So I'm all about getting behind that. Okay, so let's dig into 10 tips to implement today, 10 daily tips, but really these are daily habits. These are things I implement every day. And I really do feel like they are very immune oriented and immune supportive. So first step, you get up, you wash your face, you do your routine, and you brush your teeth. Well, after you brush your teeth, two things. A Himalayan salt gargle. Now this is a mouthwash. So you want to so I do really hot water. This is super fine. Look at this, friends. You know, I do my TJ Maxx hauls. I got this for $2.99 at TJ Maxx. It's awesome. But, pink Himalayan salt is key because there's a lot of minerals. It's very good for your gum health. It's good for your teeth. It's good for your throat, sinuses. It helps minimize bacteria. It's very nourishing because you also are going to get magnesium, and you're going to get other minerals from this Himalayan salt that are very pro-immune boosting. So what you do is, and I'm very liberal, especially, I have had a lot of kind of dental work leading up to our wedding. I replaced a few caps from when I was clenching my teeth in my 20s. And by the way, there's a whole reason for that I could get into in another video, but this Himalayan salt has been really good for healing and minimizes swelling. It minimizes inflammation of your gums, just very pro-supportive. But then you swish. So I do a tablespoon or two, super hot water, swirl it around, and then I swish, swish, swish. And I do 4 or 5 of these swishes. And then I end in a gargle. So then I gargle and spit out and repeat. The gargling is very good because you're gonna address your tonsils. You're gonna get rid of some of the post-nasal drainage kind of impact. Like right now, it's allergy season, and we are out in our forest, which is where my garden is. There's just a lot of pollen, those little pollen things. We had a crazy rain 2 days ago. Or yesterday morning. That stuff is out, and it is pretty intense. So the gargle is good for reducing that. It's good for clearing out, moving the lymphatics, also of the head and neck. So love that. The other thing that I like to couple up with that gargle. So if you are really wanting to really boost your power, power, you can add a little colloidal silver. So it's not a bad idea to put a little colloidal silver. And usually I have it, but I don't have it. A little colloidal silver in that. You could gargle. It's very, very powerful. So that's step number one. Number 2, right after you finish that, I love Ayurvedic mouthwashes. So this is, and I've got a link to this down below. Ayurvedic mouthwash, like this Aromirror. I love their toothpaste. This happens to have a whole bunch of ingredients in it. So it has 23 herbal extracts, 8 essential oils, and it has neem, which if you follow my video, I love neem. Neem's very healing for a lot of, it's antiviral, antibacterial. Neem is an Ayurvedic kind of salve. It's a plant. They have that and pilu in here. This is very potent. So it literally purified water. It has gluten-free vegetable oil glycerin. It has castor oil, xylitol, and then it has anethol, menthol, eucalyptus. It has mentha, arvenus, Mentha piperita, Mentha viridis. These are all different types of essential oils. Geranium and clove. Clove is very antiviral. It has Indian licorice, and that you kind of get a lot of that flavor. And then it has a whole bunch of other items in here. You get more clove, you get common jujube. It has pomegranate rind. It has sarsaparilla, cinnamon. So good. So this, after you do your salt, you can do a little rinse, and then that's very powerful. So this is not just for folks that have like gingivitis or really intense like tartar or bacterial overgrowth or, abscesses. By the way, this routine will get rid of any type of abscess. I mean, we're talking stuff that might not even be showing, but you feel. And by the way, an abscess, especially up here, will affect your sinuses. So a lot of times people think they have allergies, and it's actually an abscess in the upper root of a tooth. Okay, so love that. Do you guys do that? And by the way, these links are in the description box below. A lot of these are on Amazon, super easy to get. And your link, if you go through my links, they'll totally support my channel. So I appreciate that. Okay, now 3. So I left my caffeine and quarantine cup upstairs. It's been one of those mornings. So I can't share with you the tea that I'm drinking. But the 3rd is to implement tea or to drink teas throughout the day. So I have my 3 favorite teas that I'm recommending to you all. You guys saw this yesterday if you joined me on the live. The Stress Adapt tea. This is stress suppressed. This has 2 of the most impactful stress reducing and adaptogenic herbs, Tulsi and rhodiola. These 2 are going to help support stress and minimize that major hit on the central nervous system. Love, love, love these. So that tea, and let me share with you. This other thing, this is by the Republic of Tea. And I like this because the tea bags are not plastic. It's hard to tell, but they're a natural kind of fiber. It smells fantastic. They have 2 types of Tulsi. They have hibiscus. That's where you get that kind of rosy smell. And then it has the rhodiola. This 1 tea bag, 1,400 milligrams of that in combination. Very potent. Very, very potent. So I drink that a lot in the morning. Now, the other one I have not shared with you that I'm very excited to share in launch is by Herbal Zap. And it's called Immune Support. It comes in a box. And if you can hear it, you hear that? They're these like little granules. And so they have a whole bunch of things. Now, this is another. I love Ayurveda. So Ayurveda is Indian medicinal. So Ayurveda is a particular type of like Indian natural herbal medicine. And these are all the different herbals that you're going to find in this. What makes this very unique is there are things that won't be in your typical immune boosting supplements or herbals here in the US. Some common ones, you've got ginger, you have cumin, licorice, black pepper. But then there are other ones that just don't grow here in the United States. This is potent. And this is a herbal blend of just really, really good. It's gluten-free, it's kosher, it's vegan. It has a little cane sugar, so you get a little sweetness in this. But this is something you would drink throughout the year. You could drink it I usually do 1 packet a day. This happens to be, I think, how many are in here? 25. So this box, this is my newest box. There are 25 of these packets. So, a packet a day keeps the doctor away is what I always say. But very, very potent. And again, this you can grab on Amazon. There's a link down there below. My other favorite tea that I always employ in the evening is the Kava Stress Relief by Yogi. And Yogi's fun because they always have these very sweet little quotes. But the Kava tea is very powerful. It also has Indian sarsaparilla. It has cinnamon, carob pod, ginger. It has the kava. It has hazelnut. It has stevia, a little licorice, a little cinnamon oil, and then it has cardamom. This is a very nice rooted kind of flavor. I really like this. So how I kind of take my teas, I do my Super Adapt tea, and I do 2 of these bad boys. So I'll grab 2 of the little sachets, throw them in a cup. I usually have 2 or 3 of those cups. So 2 sachets I spread out. Now, I also, and a lot of times you can't see it, but I will cut up, when I boil my water, I'll cut up my lemon. And one of the things that's powerful with any type of citrus, you can do lime as well. I just have an overabundance of lemon because they came in our veggie delivery from the Pay It Forward. So I just have a lot of lemons. But I cut up the lemons, and the inside of this, so when you peel lemon or peel an orange, you see that like white inside of the skin. That is very potent in terms of its immune boosting power. I always boil my whole entire lemon. So I just cut and chop and then throw it in. I don't peel, I don't separate, I don't squeeze. I don't put a whole lemon in, but I'll usually cut off to about here. So maybe a quarter. And I cut that up into two or threes and just throw that in. Then to kind of power punch, and I do this with almost all of these. Sometimes kava, I might not put a little lemon because that's stevia. I don't always flavor it. Same thing with this, but depends on if I'm dealing with allergies. Another way to really bolster and fortify is to add honey. And there's two different kind of forms of honey that I recommend. The first is manuka. So manuka is very potent, very healing. This happens to be a UMF of 10 plus. So this is pretty powerful in its potency. Manuka, I've done a YouTube video on manuka specifically, so you can kind of check out my arsenal of video content. But manuka is great. It's a different flavor. So manuka, and I don't know if you can see it, but it is very different than honey. I mean, it's thick. Like I can turn this around and it doesn't come out. So it's just very different. But manuka, it comes from New Zealand, and there's a lot of immune boosting power here. I consider this a little bit stronger than your propolis. I know a lot of friends are propolis fans. But then this happens to be a local. So you kind of see this is locally grown. This is until we get this flow thing that I want to get. This is as close to local honey as I can purchase. So it's honeybees here in our area. And this is just pure honey from local bees harvesting and eating on things that might be causing me some allergies. Now, the pine, not so much, but it's very powerful. And I love honey. So I will flavor something with a little honey. So this brand, the Manuka, I grabbed this at Trader Joe's a while back. But you can buy it online. You can also, let me see. I'm trying to think of some of the stores. Like Trader Joe's doesn't have any of those shipping companies. Probably Whole Foods, but I know they're not shipping. So your best bet would probably be to buy that online. Now, locally, this is one of these things where we actually have some local farmers that they are, like we have one where I can get this, and they also have eggs, and you just go and they've got like a little deposit box, kind of a, process of, Goodwill. Like I buy $12 of stuff, I put $12 in the bin, kind of honor system. You might have some of those and you might get some honey that way. Dale says it looks like Vegemite. Huh, that's funny. Yes, Manuka is like gold. It is so good. Okay, so Anaga says, I love lemons, but it's hard to keep it fresh as groceries get hard to get by. So the one thing with lemon, you can freeze it. So I feel like I'm the queen of the freezer, especially now we have this deep freeze chest. I freeze everything. I just chop up everything. Depending on what it is, you might just want to do a quick blanch or just run it underwater and then freeze it flat. I'll freeze my lemons. I also will sometimes freeze just the lemon juice and put it in ice cubes. And then that I can use to flavor. But you can also do the same thing. You could boil up a whole bunch of lemons, chop them up. And then you could, because you're going to boil the whole entire rind, you could put them in ice cubes. And then those could flavor it up. Coupon Queen. Yes. Maria, I love her. Maria's been one of my customers' patients for, gosh, how long has it been, Maria? It's been like 2009, 2010, something like that. Craziness. So Okay, yeah. So freeze. Oh, and dehydrate. That's an excellent idea. Pat, love dehydrate. I actually have a dehydrator I have not used, and that gives me some good ideas there. Thank you. Let's see. Joanne says, I love honey. My friend picked it up for me yesterday at Trader Joe's. I just ran out. It makes me so happy. Food Town or Key Food actually had raw honey. That's great. X Bluebell says, I have a bag of cherry tomatoes frozen. Any suggestions? Yeah, you can do a lot with tomatoes. I'd be doing tomato sauce. We actually have a few that I think I'm going to need to chop up and freeze. But you can use them in chilies and you can use them in a lot of different ways. Okay. So that was number 3. Number 4, I want to share with you aromatherapy, because this is very powerful. Aromatherapy can address a lot of things. It can address stress, anxiety, sleep issues, immune kind of related issues, peace, harmony. There's so much that you can do with oils. So I want to share with you, this is the newest diffuser I got from Guru Nanda. Do I have over here? Let's see. I want to see if I do. Usually I have just a whole bunch of stuff, friends, that I try and keep at I have like extra lemons. I don't have it in front of me. Oh, I do. Hold on. Let me see. It's down here. Okay. So Guru Nanda, first of all, let's talk about aromatherapy diffusing, because your diffuser is really key. And I don't know if you guys can see it, like right back by the bunny. And oh, by the way, Brian sent me, they came really late, but look at those flowers he sent me. Isn't that sweet? So I got some flowers for Easter, and I also got a new gate, a Victorian gate for my garden. It's love when you get stuff for your garden. Okay, so I love diffusers. I love all different types of diffusers. I like this. These happen to be by Guru Nanda. This diffuser is really cool because it's a plug, and it allows you to take any type of oil and you can screw it in. And there's a little button here and you press it. This light, you can press it first and it just does like little spits. It just kind of diffuses a little bit at a time. So it's a good hit of oil. And then you could press it again and it'll spray out a lot more. And then you could then the next time you turn it off. But this, we have diffusing in several rooms. So that's one. The other reason I like this is this now becomes something you could put into your laptop. You can also adjust. You can plug this into your car. Car diffusing is going to be critical as you guys, if you are working, you are like us, run into, pick up stuff or get stuff delivered in your trunk. Diffusing is very powerful, very protective. So I love this. This is Guru Nanda. There are links down below. Now there are water diffusers. So this happens to be one. I still have it in the package. We're going to be putting this upstairs in one of the bedrooms. I have that there by the bunny. So you guys can see by the bunny. See that right there? That little white thing right there. It's hard to see. Usually I have that on and it's diffusing via water. And all you have to do is just add a little, I like kind of distilled or like my Berkey water, and it diffuses. So the Real Charlie Orange says, I'm very confused about the concept of a diffuser. Some say it's great and others say we should not be inhaling this essential oil. So that's a very good question. Some essential oils can be quite overwhelming if inhaled. What I find is you have to assess who the brand is. Not all oils are the same. A lot of oil companies are just selling fragrance and not essential oil. There's a big difference there. So how it's manufactured, the potency, so there's like therapeutic and fragrance. And the therapeutic essential oils fall in a different category. Some are going to be better applied topically. Others are going to be better in kind of aromatic, air molecule format. And then others can be ingested, but there's a difference. And every oil kind of depends on the blends. And so, am I an aromatherapy expert? No, but I use it a lot with patients and folks that I recommend. It can be a complement to moving fluid in your body. It can be a complement to easing stress. It could be a complement to sleeping. And there are a lot of different oils. I refrain from the brands and the companies that are multi-level marketing. I'm not a big fan of that whole kind of model, but there are some very good brands and some good blends in those mixes. But you just kind of have to see which ones are best for you. Like, for instance, if you have lungs that aren't the best, eucalyptus is very potent. Now, it might be more potent topically than it would be diffusing through the oil, through the air. And you just kind of have to see how you do. Some people, it can be very powerful in a positive way, but others will react differently. So what I would say is, like the Guru Nanda, like these are the blends. I just ordered this because I really wanted more of the immunity, and it was the only way for me to get them. But they give you, I'm missing this one because it's right here. Relaxation. That's what I was diffusing yesterday here in the office. But this is their little blend. And essentially, like, what you have to do is you have to read, on it, like what all is in it. And you might first want to try out individuals and see how you do, and see how you respond. Versus a blend, you won't be able to know which ones might cause you grief or give you more trouble. Oh, thanks, Melissa K. Yes. So this is my shirt. She likes my shirt. This is a little tank top. It's got rose gold kind of, it's got a little sheen to it. It's kind of metallic-y. I purchased this off of Etsy. So I've linked to her store here. Super, super cute. The store name is, let me see if I can grab it. It's Trend Custom Design. She has some cute ones. Out of all of the ones, this was my favorite. And it's a navy and rose gold is the color. So thank you. Guru Nanda is one of my favorites. I like some of the now, but now I feel like they're not as potent. I buy EOS through some of my medical grade, spa grade, because I still have some of the licensure to do that. So I buy really potent. And here is the other thing. Good essential oils are not going to be cheap. And this is one of those categories. Like, I love rose. Rose is very expensive. Frankincense, pure frankincense. Now, frankincense, there's only one location in the world where it should be grown. If it's grown elsewhere, it's not really true frankincense. So this is one of these things, like, you can get into this category of, it's like coffee. You see people who love coffee. It's certain types of coffee. Well, essential oil is very much the same, but like pure, unadulterated frankincense is very hard to find. And there are a few blends that I have found that actually use the good potency. A lot of others use cheaper, synthetic made, or greenhouse grown that just don't give you that full floral fragrance. But frankincense is another one. So frankincense and rose. Lavender, French lavender. It's not 2 ounces. So this we get therapeutically from one of our spa manufacturer, vendors. And that's where we get our masks and our gloves and cleaning stuff. It's like 2 ounces, seriously, $60. That is really expensive. Most people won't pay that. And I love that. So yeah, frankincense is fantastic. Okay, so Melissa Oils. Melissa Oils is expensive too. Oh, is that a brand name? Okay. All right. So yeah, so essential oils, diffusing them in your car, in your home, in your work environment, the space, can be very helpful. And there are a lot of different ones you can diffuse. You can diffuse immunity ones. I will say Fave's, which is a trademark name, which kind of blends like oregano oil and some have oregano oil, some have lit clove, rosemary, tea tree, eucalyptus, frankincense, and lemon. Why I love the Guru Nanda Immunity, they also diffuse in here. They've got the clove, but they also have oregano oil. This is really hard to find. The oregano oil is fantastic. That's a big, big immune booster. But then you have like Breathe Easy. This is another blend that they have. They have a calming sleep. So I really appreciate this brand. and they've got the kind of, it's very aesthetically pleasing, but very aromatic and wonderful. So I love them. So let me put this over here. Okay, so aromatherapy is one. Next up, the Herbal Botanical. You guys know I love 3 letters. C ends with a D, second letter of the alphabet. I love that. I'm excited to announce that Octagon Biolabs, the brand that is one of my favorites because of the potency, it's so pure. They have come out with the capsules. And so if you want to check that out, I've got a link in the description box below. And I do have a special coupon code. They also do the balm. It's a botanical balm. So it has hemp oil in it. And then it has eucalyptus and lavender. This is very healing. And the way I use this and the oil, because I'm an oil user, I use this throughout the day. So I will usually have 2 or 3 doses morning with my stress adapt tea, because that botanical is very immune balancing. It's very supportive of reducing inflammation levels in the body. It's very supportive of creating a central nervous system balancing. There's a lot of clinical research about this botanical, and it's so fantastic. I love this. This balm, I'll show you how I use it. So I use this, I will blend, like I will also use my own oil of oregano, and you could blend any of the essential oils too. But I will take a whole bunch of this. I'll put it in the palm of my hand. I will grab a little oregano, and you guys know my most popular viewed video, I made it over a year ago. This is about a year ago. It's how to release ears, of like how to drain fluid from the ear, how to pop your ear. So I get a whole bunch of this oil, this balm. See that? I get the balm. I already have the oregano oil on my palm. I mix it in. And then what I do is I will put this right back behind my ear. I will go down my carotid. I will hit, we call these the watersheds lymphatically. So I'll do that. I already get lymphatic drainage like that. And then what I will do is I will coat my chest, bronchioles, like you can coat your bronchioles as well. And then if you want, depending on kind of your sense of if you're okay with a little oil here, I put a little bit like right here, upper sinuses, and then smell it. And then usually if I have any leftover, like right now I have a little leftover, I'll put in the back of my neck. This is so great. So, the real Charlie Orange. That's how I found you, that video. Yay. Yeah. So we have, I think we're at like 1.4 million views. It's insane. That video, it's one of those things. Oh, there's a big bird out there. Sorry, you guys. We have lots of birds coming our way in our house. We've had all these neighbors take down all these trees. Like yesterday, there were more trees that were gone. And we have 4 cardinal nests outside. So we hear the babies all the time. But yeah, so that video is really popular. But what I use is this hemp-related balm. It has the botanical in it. So it's very healing, very relaxing. Why I address also the carotid is that will then deliver that nutrient up. Okay, so I'm getting a little red because of the effort I put in. But I will also put a little oregano oil because around this season, it's allergy season, and I love oregano oil, but you always have to blend it with an oil. I had somebody who said, you never said to blend it with the oil, and I never, ever recommend oregano oil on the skin ever. It's a hot oil. It needs to have a carrier oil. But the oregano oil, just like with the actual joints, we have 3 bones in our ear. There's a joint between all 3 of those. There's joints between the 3, and there's fluid. We call it synovial. It's a synovial joint and synovial fluid. The oregano oil actually can drain and open up and decongest the joints so that the bones move. And as you do the exercises I recommend, it clears the fluid. So if you guys want to check out that video, just go to my channel and type in plugged or clogged ears, and it'll bring up, I think I have now a total of 4 different videos. I just keep expanding on them because people love them and they ask, I need more. Somebody says, I tried it one time and it didn't work. And you actually have to try this multiple times, because if you're so locked in, there's not just like one thing that one time is going to do it. Some people it does, but some people really have mechanical, just structural challenges in that area. Okay. Let's see. Pat says, can anyone answer Joanne's question? I don't know what Joanne's question is. Okay. What brand, please? The doctor just called. I couldn't hear it. I missed it. I've been using and asking for quality brand of, okay. So there's a link down below, Guru Nanda on the oils. I like them a lot, but you can check them out. I've got links down below. They are available via Amazon. So yeah, oregano oil, definitely want to mix with the carrier. Let's see. Okay. So I love that. That is very powerful. So I use the liquid, and now, the capsules, I've got those on order too. I use that throughout the day. So sometimes if there's more stressful times of the day, which tends to be in the morning and the middle to late afternoon, which is like my Gabriel mommy time, I take more of that just to deal with the stress of it. But it does help with sleep, and it does help kind of balance everything out. So very, very powerful in helping support your body. And as a routine to help your immunity, we need to make sure that 3-letter herbal botanical is in the mix, because the deeper central nervous system balancing that you're going to get, because there's 2 types of receptors. The central nervous system has CBD receptors. So I said it, but that's as far as it goes. Okay. So do check on the link down below, and there's also a coupon code that you can grab. And the other thing that happens, because I've done this, I'm getting a lot of draining. Okay, number 6. Oh, this is so good. This is so thyroid supportive, but it's also really good for minimizing excess fluid and just enhancing your mineral intake. And minerals are really key to boosting your immune system. Kelp, granules, these are the little flakes, and it's going to be hard to see, but they're literally it's like dark salt. So it's like black salt. Like Gabriel thinks this is black salt now. He's like, I want the black salt. So I add this to, if we do scrambled eggs, I add this to a lot of things. Put this on, all of our veggies, steamed veggies. I put it in sauces. This is a power punch of iodine. It's also a power punch of other things. You're going to get magnesium, you're going to get iron, you're going to get calcium, but 1 teaspoon, that's not a lot, friends. 1 teaspoon is equivalent of 970% of your daily iodine intake. This is a natural way to support your thyroid gland. For those that have nodules, cysts, imbalance, low TSH levels, iodine is critical. And I love food, because folks, even with Hashimoto's, do really well with kelp flakes, and it's food-based. Very, very powerful. I have a link for all of you if you want to check out YouTube. There's a link down below, or DM me and I can get you that. Instagram, we've got about 2 minutes, and then we'll have to go for a part 2. So just stay with me. So kelp flakes are fantastic. Number 7, crucial. This goes with the ear stuff. Nasal spray. Nasal spray is a must. We need to make sure, especially now we're in the seasonal change, this helps get rid of allergens. It keeps the passages clear. It minimizes inflammation. Inflamed, gunky, congested sinuses are a breeding ground for virus and bacteria. It's a perfect environment for that to take root. And I really, really love sinus spray. So that is definitely something I implement it in the morning and the evening. If you're working, like when we work outside, we come in around 6 right before dinner. We do nasal sprays. And for Gabriel, that's his before bedtime, because he goes to bed at 7. So that's what we do there. Number 8. Oh, I love this so much. Bach Rescue Remedy Spray. This is like my emotional Teflon. And I actually had to order a new one. I was out of the spray. This one's completely gone, but I have the drops now. But Bach Rescue Spray is homeopathy. It's like homeopathy. It's really flower remedies. And for Instagram, I'll explain a whole lot more of this on the other side, because I know we're getting down to it. But if you're dealing with like emotional stress, and yesterday we talked about the emotional, mental kind of fatigue. If you're feeling run down, irritable, you're noticing your emotions really kind of getting the best of you, this remedy has 5 different flowers that address a lot of the major stressors that we deal with. And it's so powerful. All right, Instagram, I'll see you on the other side for part 2. Okay, let's see. Okay, so let me save that, you guys. Hold on one second. Everything's running way slower. And by the way, YouTube takes forever to download now. Like, they are trying to conserve their bandwidth. Apparently, tons of people are going live. Obviously, we're all at home, but so that's why it's taking me a little bit longer in the mornings. And then also why sometimes you don't see the video. So I'm going to have to start sending out emails every day. Okay, let me bring Instagram back. Hi, Instagram. Welcome back for part 2. We are now on number 8. We're talking about 8 out of 10 ways for you to implement daily healthy habits to support your immune system to keep you healthy and well during this particular time. But globally, what I love is Bach Remedy Spray. So I was explaining a little bit about how this works. Bach Remedy Spray is very potent and powerful at dealing with emotions. And there's several different kind of flower blends. It has something called rock rose. Rock rose, and I've been trained in flower remedies, but essentially Dr. Bach was a psychotherapist, or he worked at a psych hospital as a therapist. And what he found was every morning he would wheel people out to the garden in the morning time and have them, kind of sit out there and relax. Well, he started to notice that near different plants that they would start to have some changes in terms of their emotional state. So he started to analyze this and studied all different types of plants. And it's taken over not just like the Bach plants, but we see Australian bush plants and other kind of indigenous plants around. Bach flowers, we have individuals, and then we have like blend of them. The Bach blend is 5 of kind of the classic, like covers everything emotionally. So rock rose is the first one. Rock rose is my go-to, or it's the go-to for like trauma. It's a go-to for like anything that's traumatic, extremely stressful, could be acute stress or long-term stress. It's very good for PTSD. So in this time, yesterday I talked about we're in trauma. We are in a traumatic state. We're in a survival. We're all surviving. And our hardwiring as cave women, cavemen has not changed at all. And we see that plague our bodies. We're seeing this plague our health, our mental, emotional, and physical health. And this will have a long-term effect if we don't deal with it right now. So we can actually implement Bach therapy to deal with those emotions. So rock rose is good for that. Clematis. Okay, so I have like 8 clematis plants here. I'm able to grow a lot of these awesome plants here in Georgia. So clematis is one that is very powerful at just calming stress, and it's very peaceful. It creates a feeling of peace. And then impatience is actually very much focused on slowing down the mind. So if you've got a racing mind, that can be greatly minimized by this particular impact. So if you are like up in your head and you're like worrying the warriors of the world, very powerful for that. Cherry plum is another one that is very powerful at folks that don't want to move forward or feel stagnant or stuck. And, a lot of people kind of feel stagnant and stuck at home. Very impactful for that. And then my favorite, Star of Bethlehem. Star of Bethlehem is another one for emotional injury, trauma, stress, any type of just overwhelming sense of dread, and even depression. Star of Bethlehem is great. So the 2 that like I blend together and I used to work with a lot of military professionals, PTSD type of cases back in Tampa. I would pair up Star of Bethlehem and Rock Rose. And I mean, we were talking like folks that were suicidal, it pulls them out of it. It's just, it just calms the emotions. So Raquel says, rescue helps me sleep at night. And they have different versions. They have a sleep one, they have an energy one. They have Lark for kids. Lark is a particular one for kids that have lower confidence, or maybe they are having troubles, concentrating or focusing. There are those. They have blends that are good for like emotional eating disorders. And Roween says, stress has definitely been high. Went through a recent breakup, lost my job, and was forced to leave life in Cali and move back with my folks in Seattle. Thank you for the help in balancing hormones. Yeah. So those are all three overwhelmingly stressful events individually. Then you add that into the mix of this chaos and, going from one state to another state, it's overwhelming. So, and we have to be gentle and forgiving of ourselves. Like we just have to have lower expectations of what we can do, what we should be doing. We need to take care of ourselves and, cover all the bases of the essentials. If you have a little extra energy, put it towards self-care. I think that's really critical. Pat says, rescue remedy pulled me out of a panic in seconds many years ago. I love it. And yeah, every time I've had any grand opening or any like business related, like move, a lot of stuff, anytime I go and speak, I have this in my pocket and I'm like, people think it is like a breath, freshener. I have no clue what I'm doing. I just do a few hits on my tongue and off I go. And it really, I notice a big difference. And the way these work, they're really fast. So it's a spray or a drop. It's held, so it's sublingual, and boom, like you're going to notice it 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes. Very, very powerful. Anaga, do you recommend using individual black flower for more potency, or the rescue remedy is good? So the rescue remedy covers a lot. So overall stress, it covers it. If I have folks that are dealing with really significant specific stressors, like I have a 200 or 300 paid, 300 like question intake that I take when we're doing this type of therapy to really drill down on seeing some trends. And then I have a whole case. It's like a little carrying case. And I pop it open. I'm like, okay. And I will mix blends. You don't have to do that, but this has really all of those. Like Star of Bethlehem and Rock Rose cover a lot. Huge fan of it. Okay. So let's talk about sleep. Sleep is critical. You can do all of these things. If you're not sleeping well, you're not rejuvenating. Your organs aren't taking a break. We're not having some hibernation happening within the organs. We're not having the rejuvenation of the adrenals. We're not having the good cellular turnover. And that does help us heal. Our cells, every cell of our body is rejuvenating and replenishing. And this is impactful for organs and glands. It's impactful for our brain, the cells in our skin. It's very impactful for healing. So you guys know, I've talked about this a lot. I took it last night. I love this stuff. REM sleep is my new natural sleep aid. It is natural. It has 4 parts to it. It's all based on reducing stress so that you calm your mind, kind of gets you into that beginning phase of sleep. Then it addresses temperature changes. It makes sure, like if you're hot flashing or night sweating, it's going to balance that. It also reduces the cortisol. So it has hops and magnolia bark, very powerful at that. And then it has the amino acids that are balancing to the neurotransmitters that calm the body down, helps kind of reset that circadian rhythm. And then the next thing it has is the neurotransmitter impact. So it has 5-HTP, a precursor to serotonin. That's our happy hormone. So by nourishing that, we are going to wake up feeling brighter, happier, more sunshiny. But also has L-tryptophan, which calms. It's a nerve tonic. It has L-theanine, again, a nerve tonic as well. And then it has GABA and just a hit of melatonin, but nothing major on that. So it's fantastic. And Pat, yes, please give me a thumbs up, hearts if you like this, if you're inspired. Going to implement any or all of these, let me know in the comment box below which of these 8 are you going to implement. So let me just run quick down because we're at number 10 now. So first was the salt water gargle with the little Himalayan salt. 2, the Ayurvedic rinse, really good. You can also gargle with this as well. 3, teas, stress adapt, kava, the new immune one. I love the Ayurvedic blends. Aromatherapy, either diffusing it, you can use that topically if you need to. So good. Aroma is fantastic. The 3-letter herbal blend, I love. My Herbal Botanical, the topical here, you can put on the carotid and you can use the oils. I actually get a 300,000 milligram bottle. That's my dose of choice. A dose is about 100 milligrams, which is a really intense power punch. I actually have a free quiz, and let me see. Let me grab that quiz for you guys. I actually have a free quiz where you can actually take, oh, you know what? Oh, that got pulled. I will repost and DM me Instagram if you guys want my 3-letter herbal botanical quiz. I actually have a PDF that is a download, and you can take a quiz, and it'll tell you, it asks you all these questions, and it'll tell you like the range of deficiency. And then that's a good dosing guide. So it's partly dosing in its recommendation, but also identifies systems or symptoms that you don't even realize are related to the CBD or CBD1, CBD2 receptors. And those receptors are necessary to be balanced. So DM me on Instagram, and then on YouTube, I'm going to see, you know what? I think I have it on my website. Hold on. Let me pull this up. Let's see. Natural health. I'll see if I can pull this up. So while I'm checking that out, let me tell you the number 6, kelp flakes right here. Kelp flakes are fantastic. Okay, here, I'm going to send you guys the quiz. I'm going to put it here in the chat box for all of you. Link to that. I'm also going to put it on, let's see. I'm just going to say, take my quiz. I might have to do a tiny URL. Oh, no. Okay. Let me do a quick tiny URL. So sometimes I have to hide my links, and it's called tiny URL or bit.ly URL. It's ridiculous. But it's a way. I mean, literally, YouTube will flag me if I have in the link a word that is against their policy. Like they're flagging the name of the virus, the abbreviation of the virus. If I pull a CDC report that has that, I get flagged. So I've had to be really savvy. I hate doing this. I feel like you have to be sneaky, but it's just a stupid workaround. Okay, so the bit.ly link is there. For all of you on Instagram, you can run over to my website. It's naturalhealthresources.com. On the main page, this is what it looks like. It's going to have me at the top at my desk, and it'll ask you, are you curious about the 3-letter botanical? Then there's a button. You can download that free quiz, or you can order the, it sends you straight over to order the 3-letter botanical. So check that out. Just go to my website, naturalhealthresources.com. Yeah, it's a pain in the butt, Michelle. Okay, but we work around it. It's all good. So peace, love, and sanitize. Maria, I love it because I'm the quarantine queen. All right, so we covered box spray, nasal spray, number 7, 8 box spray, number 9, sleep, the REM sleep, love them. This is a 10, I'm out of my packs, but this is a 10 pack. So you can get 10 days, you can get 30 day, you can have it auto ship, super easy, so you never run out. And Felicia is going to incorporate kelp flakes. I love it. Okay, so yeah, Babu, too much censorship. They've been given carte blanche with the 9th District, 9th Circuit Court. They won a case against the university about censorship, and basically it said, well, they're private, and so your First Amendment rights don't really stand up in the private setting. So that's why they're really clamping down on everything. And so YouTube has what we are calling another ad Adpocalypse is the name of it. So a lot of advertisers are pulling ads because of the nature of the economy. Then with their censorship, like YouTubers are, I know a lot that are going out of business. I know ones who have filed for, resources. It's insane. So, we just have to do what we have to do to keep within these guidelines. And so I want to continue to deliver you guys content. Facebook hasn't been as bad. So Instagram, I get dinged like if I want to try and promote the 3-letter herbal, and I've realized I don't do that. But everything else is fine. But YouTube, for sure. All right. So then my 10th and final tip for you is really, it goes back to one of my favorite gurus on healing the body, how we can harness the power of our mind and our thoughts to heal our body. And there are a lot of thought leaders that have this, the power of our mind. We can manifest money. We can manifest wellness. We can manifest relationships, the secret's part of that. But there's a lot of power there. And my favorite guru, I always look towards, I met her one time. I cried my eyes out because she changed my life, and her mantras helped me harness my mind to heal my body. And we all have that capacity. That's free. We don't have to pay for this. This we come equipped with. We just have to focus on our thoughts. And so if you hone in on a mantra, and by the way, the woman, her name is Louise Hay. I don't know if you guys are familiar with her. She has some amazing books. Heal Your Mind, Heal Your Body. Heal Your Body was her first work of art. And it really is a piece of art, but it is a health guide based on different body systems, areas, parts of the body, eyes, nose, sinuses, allergies, asthma, you name it. She's covered it. And she identifies the limiting thought or the belief that you have going on, mental thought. And then she gives you an affirmation or a new mantra. And those affirmations, they are very simple and literally like I am the queen of Post-it notes. So I'm going to share with you my Post-it note collection. I have like tons of these things, different colors. I write them everywhere. Some are like brand colors. Others are crazy bright. But all you need is a Post-it note and a pen, and you can choose your mantra. The mantra I feel like is most effective right now for giving us peace and being able to get us through this, to calm that survival mode, is the mantra, all is well in my world. And like my lymphatics, the lymphatic mantra is, I go with the flow, or I let life flow. But those are mantras that are very powerful. And literally like what you do, and it sounds cheeky, but you take out a Post-it note, you write it down. You write out like 5 or 6 Post-it notes. You post them on the mirror that you use to get ready and to go to bed with. So you brush your teeth first, you wash your face, brush your teeth last. Have that Post-it note, and while you're brushing your teeth, in your mind, say the mantra. Next up, at your laptop or your computer desk that you work at, wherever your kind of main, like if you've got it in your kitchen, post it on your refrigerator. So every time you or anybody else goes and gets stuff from the fridge, you got your Post-it note of your mantra. Same thing like with folks who do have to travel, in your car, on your phone. You could even have a Post-it note on the back of your phone or on the front cover, and every time you use it, you see it. But over time, I promise you, it becomes this routine where you're just kind of saying your mantra. If there's like a little lull, you say your mantra throughout the day. And all is well in my world is very calming. It has a soothing kind of, just eases that anxiety, that tension. When you say all is well in my world, your mind sets that tone. Your neurotransmitters send these signals, and we start to see the calming happen. That mantra is very powerful. And if you guys want more about Louise Hay and all of her kind of mantras, I definitely, I am indebted to her work in not just my own personal health world, but also for many of the people I've worked with, for the last 10, 15 years, have had positive effect when I've highlighted her work. And, it's just, we're conduits of that wisdom. She has since passed, but she continues to live on through the mantras and teachings. And she created a publishing house. It's Hay House Publishing. She's published, Crazy Sexy Cancer, Chris Carr. She has been supportive of Wayne Dyer. All of Wayne's books ended up being published through Louise Hay. She put on amazing conferences. I went to several in Tampa. That's how I got to the amazing ability to meet her. I mean, it was just like amazing. So, I think about it, I get really emotional because she just was so life-changing. And I've seen so much of her, the wisdom she had, just passed it on to people and healed people. And she started her work in the early 70s and really caught wind when the AIDS epidemic was brewing in California. And she started these groups of therapy support groups. And she literally wrote Heal Your Body as she was working. So she was a mental health therapist and started utilizing her community groups and started to write this guide. It was literally like this, like a little, Scantron with a paper clip or, staple, and they would implement, and these groups grew. And then she actually did self-publishing, and she had a lot of individuals live longer than they should have based on her work. And it's expanded in so many different ways. So I love her. I love, love, love her. Okay. So, we have Sheila in Belgium. Okay. So so that is a great, great mantra. And I think you guys will find that to be very stress reducing. So, and that's, number 10 is, if that doesn't really resonate, there are many others. You can Google affirmation. And I used to sell these sets in the retail setting where you can have them, all around. And it's just very inspiring. And her work is just so fantastic. So, and I feel like Hay House is doing something like around the time, like Wayne Dyer's birthday, they'll do like all of his books for $1.99 online. He's another one that has mastered that whole mind shift. So if you guys feel like you have reading, time to read or want to explore, Louise Hay and Wayne Dyer, two of my favorites. So powerful. And Wayne actually he's passed as well, but he's written books for kids, and I read those to Gabriel a lot. And yes, you can make up your own too. Nothing is as strong as our own magic. Absolutely. And I'm reminded how the Hay House has a podcast, so you can check them out. And Life is Precious. Yes, I love all of these. So thanks, everybody. That is our kind of snapshot 10 tips. Please check out the kids care. I've got that link down below. A little girl here in Marietta is collecting first responder notes. I love that. And also I will pull up the Harvard School of Public Health, that their social distancing prediction. I'll pull that up and post on the description box below. So, oh my gosh, Lois said, Wayne lived in my building years ago here in Maui. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. He was such a cool guy. Just loved it. And he would talk, he would like take his shoes off, and he was very grounded. Very, very cool. He reminds me of Deepak with that kind of like energy, bigger than life energy. So that is really, really neat. Thanks for sharing that, Lois. All right, friends. So let's tune in tomorrow, same time, same place. YouTube, give me a thumbs up, hit the like button, and share. And for Instagram, if you want to do a screen grab, post to your stories, tag me at Natural Health Resources. And stay tuned. If you don't follow me on Instagram, please do. You can find me at Natural Health Resources. We are posting updates daily now of our gardening redo, the expansion, the growth. We're putting in a fence. We organized yesterday. Brian wanted more mulch, so we had the guys that were doing all that loud work yesterday morning. They dumped off a whole truckload of mulch, so we have to move all of that. And so we've got a lot of work to do. So Quarantine Queen is in the house. If you guys like this tank, you want to support an Etsy shop, grab that down below, as well as my little quarantine, caffeine and quarantine. And Sarah is still making tons of masks, so I hope you'll check that out. So the PDF, I'll grab that link after the fact and check that out. All right, you guys, have a great day. I will see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Thank you. Thanks, YouTube. I am grateful for your time. And I'm going to do a poll. I want to do another private community live. So if you want to become a member, it's $4.99. YouTube offers a membership program. So I'm going to look at, for all of you members, Lois and Pat and Anga, and let's see who else is on. IC 2009 BA. I want to post another live check-in with you all. So if 3:30 seemed to be the time that worked, and maybe we'll just do it 3:30 on Sunday again. But I'll just put out a poll, so look for that on the community tab. That's exclusive for members. If you want to become a member, be a part of it, hit the join button to do that. All right, you guys, thanks for tuning in. Have a great, fabulous Wednesday. Bye.